everyone's time today and get done on time or early if we can. Just going to pop up the agenda here so we kind of know where we're going. Just going to start us off with some introductions. It's a pretty small group today compared to Monday, so I think we can take a little bit longer on introductions. Then we'll have a breakout, preliminary brainstorm and report that back. A second breakout just focused on collecting more thoughts and feedback. Couple of housekeeping announcements from WyAA's end at the end, and an opportunity for you to share any updates that you have on advocacy, and then closing comments before we close out. So with that, I'll go ahead and kick off introductions. I think what I'd like to do today is answer I have 5 questions in the introduction. So I'm going to drop them in the chat here so you can start thinking about your response. But it's name, what county you're coming from, what your arts background is, whether you're an artist, an arts educator, an arts advocate, how many, if any, of our online arts and culture series sessions have you previously attended? And then this is the fun question. So I've been asking everyone, if you could be any one of Wyoming's arts and culture attractions, destinations, or arts activities, what would you be? So I'll kick it off. My name's Andrew Schneider. I'm coming to you here from the Aurora Borealis shouldn't fool you. I'm in Casper, Wyoming today. I started my arts career as a stage manager in theater, and work in many different disciplines under the creative placemaking umbrella. And this today is my second online arts and culture series. And I think if I'd asked myself this question yesterday, I probably would have said that I would be an art walk, because I love all of the energy of people going in and out of different gallery spaces and having food and live music and performance and all those elements. But after being at the Governor's Arts Awards last night, I'm going to have to go with that. That was just such a lovely evening and a really great group of people in the room. So yeah, I'll take the granddaddy party of them all. And I'll just popcorn it over to you, Bruce, since you were first in the room.
Oh, yeah, Bruce Richardson, Natrona County, Casper here. Arts background. Gee whiz, I'm 74 years old and I've been playing in the arts thing for most all of my life, including back to my time in Los Angeles. But I don't know, I was president of the Nicolaitan for a while, and then I've written a little bit about arts. So that'll do it. If I wanted to be an attraction, wow, there's a lot of choices. I'll pick one from out of my town. Maybe I'd like to be Actors Mission in Rock Springs. They serve a meal along with a play. That seems good.
Great. Tyler, do you want to take it away?
So I saw a little meme. It said, 2020, or in 2020, everyone joked that, oh, hey, I think you're on mute. And then in 2021, it was like, you're on mute. And then in 2022, they're like, I don't care that you're on mute. I'm just going to let you keep going. But my name is Tyler Sesser. I'm the executive director for Art 321 up in Casper, so in Natrona County. My arts background largely has been in the arts administration and arts advocacy realm, but I also have I'm ABD from a doctoral program in music performance on saxophone. So I love a lot of conceptual work in that realm and interdisciplinary collaborations and bringing that all into the world that I live in now. If I could be anything, maybe this is just because it's one of the things we focus on so much is about how arts is infused in health and wellness for everyone in our community. I would love to be one of the kind of musical or creative devices in a music therapist's or arts therapist's toolkit, just so that I could really feel that like I'm always part of the health, the healing of an individual would be a really cool experience.
Very cool. Thank you, Tyler. So let's bump over to Gail Wilson, who is not really Gail Wilson, and we're all excited to find out who you are.
Can't hear.
There, we hear you.
Okay, not Gail Wilson. You have Lorena Patzer and Erica Rogers from Works of Wyoming in Laramie. So I'm going to start off and then let Erica. We're sharing a computer and a phone. In Laramie is where we're at. Actually, my education background is in veterinary science. I'm an entrepreneur artist in hot glass lamp.
Gail, we might have lost you.
Well, it looks like I hear it.
Why don't we keep it rolling with you, Allison, if you're ready?
I am Allison Quaggan Harkin. I'm in Albany County. I'm in Laramie. Lived here for like 28 years now, I guess, although I'm originally from Toronto. My arts background is really mostly in theater and creative writing. I'm an actor. I do fiction and creative nonfiction writing. Also recently done some playwriting. And let's see, this is the second series I've attended for the WyAA series. And let's see, who would I be if I could be something in the arts? I would either choose to be the Cooper Center for Creative Arts in Laramie, because they do just tremendous work at including all members of the community in various forms of the arts, visual, music, dance, theater, or I would be relative to Patrick's, because it does so much in terms of promoting social justice issues among the community, not only in Laramie, but around the state.
Great, thank you. How about you, Rita?
Hi, I'm Rita Basom. I'm in Laramie County, Cheyenne. My arts background, I'm an actor, director, singer, artist in some ways, and arts administrator. And certainly supportive of the arts in all of its forms. I've attended several, I don't know the exact number of these types of meetings, but when we were all stuck in our homes, I tried to attend it as many as I could. And if I could be anything in Wyoming, several of you, Allison, got to the Cooper Center first, but I think I would say I would just be community theater, not specifically one, but across the state, the many community theaters and what they bring to their communities and what they provide for the people in their communities that want to be involved in that sort of thing. And that would be my choice.
Great, I love that. And now you've got a head start on your WyAA board bio responses there too. Joe, I'm super curious to hear what you would be if you could be.
So I'm Joe Crandall, and I'm from Sublette County, so Pinedale is the town. So I studied ballet, started in the 7th grade, and studied until into university. and loved it. I'm also a co-founder of the Pinedale Fine Arts Council, which is going on 40 plus years, and the Pinedale Theater Company, which is pushing 16 years. So that's a community theater organization. Honestly have spent most of my years in Pinedale. I taught there for a while, but I also just have spent a lot of time on the board of the Pinedale Fine Arts Council, PFAC, and worked with that organization for almost all the time it's been in existence. So I attended the sessions last year and thought they were fascinating and often very, very useful. So, and I would probably, because I'm a dancer and I like moving, I would probably look at the dance department at the university and Dancers Workshop in Jackson. Both of them are extraordinary organizations. Can't hear you.
Thanks. I appreciate you not just letting me go. Last but not least, Wendy, someone who's seen and experienced quite a few Wyoming arts experiences.
Yeah, I'm Wendy Brady Hoff. I'm the chair of the WyAA board. And I am at home in Laramie in Albany County. My arts background, I'm a visual artist, and while I love all art forms, visual art is nearest and dearest to my heart. Although I've raised children who have gone in other directions into theater and dance and things like that, which is great because I've learned so much from them. I have seen or participated in all of the cultural series programs to date. Sometimes mostly as an observer, sometimes more actively. And if I was to be, today, I'm thinking that if I was to be an arts destination, I would be a residency program because I think about places like UCross and Gentile who offer individual artists so much opportunity to get to the heart of their thinking and their creative spirit, and gives them the time and the support to focus solely on that without a lot of world distractions. And that just seems like a nice idea to me today.
Lovely. Well, thank you all so much for taking the time out on your Saturday, especially right around the Arts Awards season and before the legislature gets together in a week to talk about our online art and culture series. Just recap the agenda. There's two sort of breakout conversations that I want to prompt, and we'll give about 10 minutes for each of those, and a 10-minute and then a 5-minute report back. So the first question, and I know that everyone has at least a little familiarity with the online arts and culture series, so I'm kind of going to breeze past too much presentation about what that is, but the first question is what webinar topics are you interested in? The second question is, what topics could you present to your peers, either alone or on a panel? And then the third question is, what state and local organizations should WyAA partner with to provide this professional development and educational content? And I will drop these in the chat, those questions, so that you've got them in front of you. And if you would like to copy that out of the chat, so when you can keep it with you when you go to your breakout rooms. I think, let's see, since there's 8 of us, we'll break into even numbers. Um, actually, I'll break us into odd numbers, and then since we have 2 duplicates, my math is there. And then Lorena, you can, hopefully it sorts you into the same room or separate rooms that way. Does anyone have any questions before I hit the breakout button?
Are we answering all the questions in our first breakout?
Yep. So it'll take about 10 minutes to answer all 3 questions and discuss them, you know, as much or as little as you need to kind of brainstorm them out. And I will call you back in 10 minutes.
Oh no, she said Bruce can't hear her. What is it? Any ideas? Well, next time I'll go into Zoom. I've never done Eventbrite.
Bruce, I thought that was funny. It was like, I think everyone's acutely aware of the opening that is at R321.
Oh, I wasn't thinking of the hot stuff. I was just thinking anything.
Right.
It can be pots as well as exciting stuff.
Yeah. Hey, Andrew, I think there's a really interesting parallel from Bruce's discussion of like that one-to-one and just like you sharing with another individual, and base level like DEI work or advocacy work for communities. Sometimes it is that friend saying something to another friend that helps that situation. So that one-to-one could really go in a great many directions.
Well, I think it's a good topic too for a group discussion. You know, that me or you or somebody else or any of us could do 5 minutes of what you were talking about, and then others could kind of fill in. But I think it's just an issue of awareness that you ought to be out there promoting the arts all the time and in any way that you can.
Well, super. We're all back together. And what I'd love to do is if one person from your group sort of took notes and wants to report out, that's great. Wendy, was there anyone in your group that kind of did note keeping, or did you all just keep your own thoughts?
Rita, I know you were taking notes. Allison, I don't know if you were or not.
Yeah, I took some notes so I can we didn't feel like it had been 10 minutes. So some of us are moving kind of slowly today, I think. As far as topics, Allison mentioned, something to be a safe place in which to practice reading scripts, or I added the idea of, learning how to prepare for an audition. So I don't know how that would look on an online series and how that would be set up, but that was one of the ideas. Another one was organizing events, good pointers for how to do that, whether they be online events or in person. And then a session on business partners for sustainability, and what might be a model of somebody who has done that and want to talk about how to make that happen. Does that, Allison and Wendy, does that represent your ideas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I was
and Wendy, yeah, that's great. That's great, Rita. And also, I think Wendy mentioned, funding opportunities beyond the obvious ones, because so often we don't know what those are.
Oh,
and so that's tied in.
That was me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So grants or other funding sources outside the usual, meaning the Arts Council, NEA, and WestF. So, and then I sort of volunteered William in Laramie, because as we were talking to him back the end of the year, he had some really good ideas about other places to go for funding. So you know, maybe we could tie him in as a presenter on one of these sessions. And partners, we sort of ran out of time, but Allison mentioned the Wyoming Institute for Humanities Research at UW. Scott Hinkle is the head of that program. And then I mentioned Michelle Sullivan and the organization that she has, although I can't think of the name of the organization right now. So Bruce, do you remember that? Somebody we've talked about the potential of partnering with, but we haven't really reached out to them yet. So,
The name,
and as far as who could present, yep. I didn't hear who that was. So then the who could present in a panel, Allison said she would be interested in being involved in a panel on theater and other arts. Allison, do you want to expand on that a little? Because I took very sketchy notes.
Yeah, I thought it would be really interesting to do a panel with people involved in various, you know, expressions, artistic expression, community in the state, really. And of course, I would really like to see that really bring, how do you make it inclusive? How do you create a community with various forms of arts? How do you make people feel welcomed? How do you bring in diverse voices?
And so that was pretty much it for our.
Yeah, and Michelle Sullivan's organization is the Wyoming After School Alliance.
WyAA squared.
the other WyAA.
I don't know. This town isn't big enough for the two of us here, you know. Well, those are all fantastic ideas, and I'll run through. In our brainstorm, there was a big theme around one-on-one advocacy, and for those of you who know Bruce, you know that he has this topic covered. And so we were thinking about some interactive formats for folks to practice some of that one-on-one advocacy and finding your voice. And as well, I think, Tyler, you kind of touched on this, but you know, how to speak to elected officials and others on a local level about the value of arts in public places. And also authentic DEI work, tying into what you're presenting at the Shepherd Symposium coming up later this year. So some definite themes there in terms of the advocacy component. I think the funding and business sustainability came up in both conversations, both through the lens of what are the sort of off the beaten path funding opportunities, but also thinking about the whole funding landscape post ARPA, which could be a fun brand, Arpocalypse. I don't know, too much. Funding ARPA, anyway, I'll work on it. So thank you. That gives us some great things to discuss. Just to let you know how this is going to kind of roll out. We have a committee of board members who is going to take all of the feedback that we get over the next couple of weeks, and then we'll kind of create some priority lists and start activating the brainstorm to reach out to these potential partners and begin to program some sessions. So jumping back to the agenda, we've got about 20 minutes left together, and we will definitely get out on time, if not a little early. But the next thing I wanted to talk about is collecting more ideas from your community. And obviously, you know, what WyAA is doing this weekend and Monday are these listening sessions, which I'm taking notes, and I'm keeping the recording for internal purposes so I can go back and take better notes if I need to. But the other thing that we're doing is launching a survey tool for folks who either maybe aren't comfortable coming on Zoom and having this interactive conversation, or who don't have the technology, or who just simply couldn't make these times work. So after the session on Monday afternoon, I will launch a survey link, which folks can find at Wyoming Arts Alliance on our website. And I just wanted to brainstorm, rather than breaking us all out, I think I'll just keep us all together since we're a small group, but brainstorm around other ways that we can get the word out to collect feedback from more artists around the state and in your community. And so if you have a newsletter or social media feeds that you're willing to offer up, I would love to document that now, and then I can follow up with you when we launch that link on Monday. But also other ideas. If you've got, I know Wendy, you had given me some great ideas to post on the Studio Wyoming Facebook, for example, and I documented some of that stuff from our conversation. But are there other channels that Tyler, that you can think of, or Works of Wyoming that you all have to reach to your vendor artists?
If you just want to send the link to Angie, the marketing at art321.org, we'll put it through all our channels. But yeah, we can, happy to share that as wide as we can.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'll also, I have a meeting with the Engage Council soon, and maybe I can put it through there too.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I can have the Pinedale Fine Arts Council send that out. That would reach the people in Sublette County.
Thank you, Joe.
Oh, there's lots of groups with websites and other things, you know. I mean, I don't play in all of them. Wyoming Writers, there's multiple writer websites. I can put your thing in a few of those that I know about, but might be, I think we're touching on an interesting project. It might be worth fundraising to find somebody to come up with a communications map for the arts in Wyoming that's just got all the names and everything. And I think we have a pretty good idea about a lot of the stuff, and word gets around, but might be nice to have a formal review of that. I'm just thinking about it. My wife right now is doing contract work on developing unusual grant sources for a social organization here in Casper, you know, and I was kind of thinking, this, you know, if we can solve this money thing, or, you know, go to one of our regular friends, we might be able to pay somebody to do some work on this.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Bruce. And I put it down on the list here that maybe we can roll that into an online arts and culture session later this year to try and crowdsource some of that knowledge and share it in a peer-to-peer way in a forum like this as a low fidelity way. Maybe it wouldn't have to cost that much money necessarily.
I would love to see for WyAA to become that map, you know, that place where you can go to find out who all the arts organizations and artists are in the state, and get information out. You know, we're certainly not there yet, but that would be a dream of mine for WyAA.
I love that vision.
We talked about this, I think, when we sat down for coffee. So it's probably not something I can have this year, but if WyAA continues to kind of get out further ahead of these topics and timing, we could put an ad in our newsletter that has pretty good distribution, or I'm sure there's other print materials or stuff that we could get it into if it was sent out in November or December timeframe, and not like right now. But that's kind of a general comment is for next year, probably one of the best strategies is to just get going earlier. And then I love Bruce's comment about paying someone or maybe paying multiple people. I think that a lot of this work is labor. So if you had somebody in Gillette that can run around and help with survey, or Rock Springs, or pay just even a small stipend for folks to give you access to their network would be really cool.
Like that. The research and development department at WyAA was born on Saturday, February 5th, 2:47 p.m. Here on Zoom. Well, are there any other thoughts about getting the word out? And if not, then I'll go ahead and move us on the agenda here.
I think
I would like it.
Go ahead,
Tyler.
I think I think a lot of it keeps going back to Bruce's comment too about the one-to-one, and that. So if we spend the next year first learning about the one-to-ones, and then spend the next year doing the one-to-ones towards this effort, could be really helpful.
I think can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I think the one-to-ones are really, really critical in small towns, and probably much more effective. They're proactive, they're not passive. And I think people are totally unaware of them. So I think small towns, a session on how to advocate in a small town might gain us a lot more traction than we realize.
Well, I'm going to throw in the thing that I keep mentioning, and nobody ever likes it. I use it at the university all the time. Very sophisticated people who want to sell their toothpaste use rainmakers. They pay people to go out and pitch the toothpaste, make it seem cool. I think we got to find the arts rainmakers. That's the way we always thought we should have done. That's the way I always thought we should do to recruit students, is none of that stuff that they were doing right now, but find the charismatic people that will go out and talk. So anyway, sorry, my obsession.
And I totally off the agenda here, but I see that Lorena has joined us, and I don't know her, and so I would like to go back and find out just a little bit about her. Is that okay?
Yeah, so Lorena is Gail Wilson by another name. But Gail,
Okay.
So that's the Works of Wyoming in Laramie team. And there's two of them joining us from there today. So that's what
Okay, I got it.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't mention that earlier. Okay, so just have a couple of housekeeping updates in terms of membership and advocacy. We're still following Cultural Trust Fund appropriation, which is now looking at like it's about 2.5 million. Which is down from 10 million. So I've heard that it could be cut again, but I've also heard from some folks that there may be trying to get that number back up again. So we're kind of just watching at this point, but obviously whatever we can do to support that enhancement to the trust fund being as large as possible. The governor recommended 10 million, and I think that's a good start. Would be great. The humanities, their situation was they were zeroed out in funding, and then they had an ARPA request, and the governor recommended a portion of that, which would have been a really small portion compared to their normal granting portfolio of about $300,000 that they regrant from state funds. So that an amendment has gone in that brings that fully back up to 300,000. And then there's a new $100,000 in there for them to partner on the constitutional scholarship program with UW. And then the third piece that we're following is Medicaid expansion. And the announcement there is that there will be a rally at the Capitol for Medicaid expansion during the lunch break on the kickoff day to the budget session, February 14th. So for those who are in range of Cheyenne, you can head to Healthy Wyoming and find information about the rally there. It's also a great day to be in the Capitol building because that will be the first day you can see the new Governor's Arts exhibit, the Art in Public Buildings program. So new art from Wyoming artists and a good cause to boot. And are there any issues that you all are tracking that you want to highlight for us to pay attention to this legislative session, or issues in your hometown that you'd like to have more folks aware of? Rita, I saw your hand.
I'd like to know what happened to the idea of the nonprofit foundation funding for helping to get that started. That was a piece of that original 10 million. Has that gone away?
So everyone is waiting for new language for that to find out if it's in or out. And so as of Thursday, during the Arts Council's board meeting, it had not been determined whether that was in or out. So I think we can assume in until it's out, but any day now we should be seeing another draft of that, and it could be out.
Okay, thanks.
Is there a plan for how WyAA is going to disseminate like what you just shared out kind of broadly? And then that would be, I've already talked about this and repeating this again, but just the sooner that information can be shared with the broad base of our community, with a little guidance on like, hey, we don't need to respond quite yet, or we don't need you to do anything yet, but here's what's going on, and can you start collecting stories? Can you start collecting statements or data that we can use if the time comes to make a case? Because right now, I feel like this is the same situation we were in last year, where it's like we're going to get like another hour window to be like, hey, contact everybody to save this one position. So just how are you guys thinking about getting that word out?
Yeah, that is a great question. And thank you for the segue. Your $5 is in the mail. So there are two ways. We have got a sort of trial package with an app called Hustle that does peer-to-peer texting. So we'll take for those who are interested, signing up through wyomingarts.org, putting your cell phone number in there will get you signed up for those. And then the other best way to get a hold of that information is through grabbing a membership on our website. So those two channels: subscribe to the mailing list and jump on that membership list, which will also get you onto our action alert network. Beyond that, when we have calls to action, those will be posted on social media to the extent when there's a strategic value of kind of casting a wider net that way. Tyler, just in terms of these issues, we're sort of in a support stance on Medicaid expansion. So we're not necessarily, we're referring people to Healthy Wyoming to get the action alerts from them directly. But in terms of the humanities, it does not seem like is a call for a large grassroots movement on that. And likewise with the Cultural Trust Fund, it just isn't clear yet what the ask is to put that out there with a call to action. So for the moment, there is, what we've been doing is word of mouth through sessions like these, and making these kinds of announcements and having these conversations, and then asking folks to take that back to their community and talk about it. And certainly I'm here to help facilitate any of those questions. So if you have a board meeting and you'd like me to participate for 5 minutes to give an update, I'm happy to give you kind of the most up-to-date information that we have as we have it. Just knowing that between now and when the budget is passed, things are going to change on a day-to-day basis, and it is going to continue to be a little chaotic and last minute, just by the nature of how the sausage gets made.
Yeah, there's a lot of things happening in the background right now. I mean, I know Albert Summers was incensed that the 5 million was chopped in half to 2.5, and so he of course is working his networks and things like that. We haven't had a chance to talk to Erin about any of this, to hear what she's hearing as our lobbyist. And so once we get a better handle on all of this information, then we can begin to go forward, because we don't want to raise a ruckus when there isn't a need to raise a ruckus. So,
and I just want to highlight that they are strategically holding back some ARPA funds for the next budget cycle and the interim budget update. So I think that any enhancement to the Cultural Trust Fund that we can get in this first round, then we need to come back in the next round with a little bit more story and data to make the case for kind of a second bite at the apple of ARPA funds for Cultural Trust Fund. So that conversations about a second bite at the apple are kind of already happening. And after the session, depending on how it goes with that appropriation, we'll probably be advocating for some additional money into the corpus or trust fund setup. It is worth noting that kind of across the board, ARPA funds are not being channeled into a lot of trust fund investments. So it's not the fact that this is reduced down to 2.5, it's actually in line and ahead of some other areas that where trust funds had asked for corpus and enhancements. So with that, it is 3 o'clock, and I promised we would end on time. So thank you all very much for providing your input today and for the offers to help get the word out. I will be following up with you all Monday afternoon with links to that survey and some social media and graphics you can include. And if you don't already know, 307-215-1542 is my cell, and you are welcome to get at me anytime I can be helpful. Thank you all.
thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.